This is the most boring piece of paper in the world, a home loan. One family's promise to pay a bank back. And in 2008, it nearly brought down the entire global economy. Not a stock, not gold. This. So, how does a boring promise about a house become a bomb the whole world is standing on? To see it, don't look at Wall Street, look at your own street. Someone wants to buy a house, but they don't have all the money. So a bank lends it to them. That loan is called a mortgage. For decades, this was the most predictable business on earth. The bank gave you the loan, then waited 30 years to be paid back, which meant the bank cared deeply whether you could actually pay. If you couldn't, the bank lost. So banks were careful, almost boringly careful. And then, someone on Wall Street had an idea that changed everything. What if the bank didn't have to wait 30 years? What if it could sell your mortgage to someone else today and get its money now? Your loan, your promise to pay, became a product. Something to be bought and sold. And that one small change quietly rewired the entire world. Because the moment the bank could sell your loan, it stopped caring whether you could ever pay it back. And that is where the safest thing in the world slowly turned into a bomb. Here's the trick that made it all work. Bundling. One mortgage is a gamble. A stranger might stop paying, but 1,000 mortgages, bundled together, felt safe. Surely not everyone stops paying at once, they thought. So Wall Street took thousands of home loans and packed them into one giant bundle. Then they sliced that bundle up and sold the slices to investors around the world. A pension fund in one country, a town's savings in another. Everyone wanted a slice, because the slices paid a steady stream of money. And best of all, the slices came stamped with a magic label, AAA, the highest safety rating that exists. As safe as government money. The label was handed out by companies paid by the very banks selling the bundles. But nobody worried about that yet. The money was too good. Now watch what that magic label did to the people giving out the loans. If every loan could be bundled, stamped safe, and sold, then more loans meant more money. So the only thing that mattered was making more loans. Any loans. They stopped asking if people could pay. They gave mortgages to people with no savings, to people with no steady job, to people who could never, realistically, pay them back. There was even a nickname for these loans, liar loans, because no one checked if anything written on them was true. It didn't matter. The loan would be bundled and sold before it ever went bad. The risk was always someone else's problem now. And on top of all this, Wall Street built something even stranger. They took the leftover, riskiest slices, and bundled those into brand new packages. Bundles made of the worst parts of other bundles. And somehow, those got stamped safe too. Then, people started making side bets on whether those bundles would fail. Bets so large, they eventually dwarfed the actual mortgages underneath. A giant tower of bets, balanced on the promise that ordinary people would keep paying. And the whole thing rested on one quiet assumption, that house prices would always go up. Because if prices always rose, even someone who couldn't pay could just sell and win. For years, prices did rise, and everyone felt like a genius. But an assumption is not a law, and this one was about to break. Around 2006, something simple happened. Houses stopped getting more expensive. They didn't even crash at first. They just stopped rising, and that was enough to start the collapse. Remember all those people who were given loans they couldn't afford? Their deal only worked if they could sell the house for more later. Now they couldn't, so they stopped paying. First a few, then thousands, then millions. And every unpaid mortgage was a tiny crack inside one of those safe bundles. The bundles that were stamped AAA. The ones the whole world was holding. Suddenly, nobody knew what their safe investment was actually worth, because nobody had ever really understood what was inside it. That is the terrifying heart of 2008. The world was holding trillions of dollars of something, and almost no one, not even the experts, truly knew what it was worth. Maybe it was fine, maybe it was worthless. And that uncertainty was poison, because if you don't know what a thing is worth, you can't sell it. And if nobody will buy it, its price doesn't just fall. It vanishes. Banks that had bet everything on these bundles suddenly owned piles of nothing. And banks, it turns out, had lent each other enormous amounts of money. They were all roped together, holding each other up. So when one big one started to fall, it pulled on all the others. In September 2008, one of the largest fell for real. And for a few days, it genuinely looked like all of them might go down together. The machines that move money between banks began to freeze. Businesses that had nothing to do with any of this couldn't get paid, because the whole economy runs on banks trusting each other. And that trust was gone. This is the moment the housing problem became everyone's problem. Companies started laying people off. fast. People who had never bought a risky loan lost their jobs anyway. Many then couldn't pay their own mortgages, which broke even more bundles. The disaster fed on itself, spinning faster and downward, and the people who caused the most damage were mostly not the ones who paid for it. To stop the whole system from collapsing, governments stepped in. They used enormous amounts of public money to catch the falling banks. The same banks that had built the bomb were handed a rescue. It was deeply unfair. It was also probably the only way to stop a total collapse, because if the banks had all fallen, your money, your job, your savings fell with them. The bomb was diffused, but the damage was already everywhere. Millions lost their homes. Millions more lost their jobs and their savings. They called it the Great Recession, and it reshaped a generation. So what was 2008 really about? It wasn't about houses. Houses were fine. It was about a chain so long and so complicated that no one could see the end of it. Your neighbor's mortgage became a slice in a bundle in a bet held by a bank in another country. Every link made a little money, and every link hid the risk a little more, until the risk was invisible. And invisible risk is the most dangerous kind. Everyone assumed someone else had checked. The banks trusted the ratings trusted the math trusted one gentle assumption everyone forgot was only an assumption, or that house prices would always rise. 1929 was a crash built on borrowed money and a story. 2008 was a crash built on borrowed money and a story. The costumes change. The engine never does. Cheap money. A comforting story, everyone piling in. And then, the floor. Every generation is sure it has finally outsmarted the old mistakes. And every generation invents a clever new package to make the same old risk look safe. In 1929, it was buying stocks on borrowed money. In 2008, it was hiding bad loans inside a triple A stamp. Next time, it will wear a different disguise and feel completely new. This is education, not financial advice. It's not a warning that a specific crash is coming tomorrow. It's something more useful. A way to see the pattern before you're standing in it. The next time something is described as perfectly safe and impossible to lose on, ask the one question almost nobody asked in 2008. What exactly is this built on? If the honest answer is trust me, you've heard this story before. The house was never the danger. The danger was how many people bet their future on it without ever looking inside. In the end, 2008 taught the world the same lesson 1929 did. Complexity is not the same thing as safety, and a label is not the same thing as the truth. The whole system had been told a story, and it desperately wanted to believe it, which is really the most human thing of all. We don't fall for crashes because we're stupid. We fall for them because the story is always so good. And the better the story, the less anyone wants to check the ending. So the next time the whole world agrees that something can't lose, remember the boring little mortgage that nearly ended everything. Remember that safe is a word, not a guarantee, and that the most dangerous risks are the ones dressed up to look boring. But every crash is only half of the story, because manias don't need something as solid as a house to catch fire. Sometimes the whole world goes mad over something with no floor at all. A company that has never made a single dollar. A promise. A dream with a logo. And that story, where the future itself went up for sale, is where we go next.